We're at day 2 of the Bush Plain Home Show. Yesterday was a success. We had met a whole bunch of vendors. If you watch a recording from yesterday, you'll see some of the great things that were happening here. Now today we do have, I told you I'd get Jen Parsons on here, so she's stopped in, and I'm going to see if Jen will hop on live with me to talk to us a little bit about the home show. Come on, Jen. And her experience and realty, because we always want you back from agents. So Jen's a realtor with EXP now for the same time as me. Our anniversary with the company's July 1st, I think. June
1st.
June
Right.
1st, yeah. So it'll be 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Crazy. And you've been licensed for 5 now, I think, right? Coming up?
This is in my 5th. December 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, trade show, what do you think?
I think it's awesome. There's a lot of really great Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma-based vendors here.
Mm-hmm.
Some great companies, some people that I've never heard of before. So it's great to get out into the community and see all of our hardworking entrepreneurs selling their products.
It's awesome. And we've had Sarah Marshall was here again. She just left. We had Carol here yesterday. They had hopped on. So, and Rick is here, of course. And we're EXP Realtors, new to the city relatively for 3 years.
Yep.
So yesterday I had somebody say to me, are you a small company or are you a new company? And it's funny because
we are the largest brokerage in the world.
Yeah. So, and I think like someone had asked me recently at a meeting, and I said, I'm a leader, not a follower.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so important when it comes to change and embracing new things.
Yep.
Do you agree?
Absolutely. I think EXP does an incredible job of really setting the bar for their agents. There's really no other brokerage where you're going to make more money.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it opens up multiple doors, which is, I always say, and I was joking with Carol yesterday that I would want her to do a video of somebody chasing me down saying, here, take $16,000 of stocks. And I'd be like, no, thanks. I'm not interested. Just give me the award instead. I mean, right? Like these are opportunities when you icon with EXP Realty. When you cap, you get stocks. I mean, it's part of the program.
Yeah, part of the program. Plus, you get like an automatic 10% discount on our stocks, which is doing pretty well considering the stock market right now.
Well, what's interesting, and I totally forgot about the 10% because we were talking about it, and like right now our stocks have definitely fallen compared to what they were, which of course everybody says. But now because we're buying on repeat, and you take some off your income all the time. So with that 10% discount, just wait to what those stocks are going to be worth in 5 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I forget. Do you remember how many? And I should know this. How many realtors are in Canada right now with EXP? I think it's like 12,000.
I think it's around there.
Yeah.
I know that they just put out a news article a couple of days ago about it. We were officially the largest growing brokerage in the world by transactions and agents, I'm pretty sure. So we're all over the place. Yeah, it's like
92,000 realtors, 26 countries, and growing quickly. And hopefully in Costa Rica soon.
Yes, if anyone wants to buy some more tropical, this is the lady you got to chat to.
Yeah, or actually anybody, because we can all work together on these.
Yep.
And I'll be there at the end of the month. And I don't think, did I tell you that?
Yes.
I'll be at the So I just got a catalog sent to me with a whole bunch of, one of the least expensive lots was like $30,000.
Which is crazy.
But still.
And some are tropical, so you don't have to worry about the winter time anymore.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And you
I can't wait to get to Costa Rica.
Travel really freely there as Canadians. Mm-hmm. They love Canadians. And actually, you forget, except for the obvious, the weather. But there's so many Canadians there that you feel sometimes that you're in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm excited to get there for sure.
Yeah. So what are some of you had a really nice highlight. You have another over $1 million sale this year.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that listing.
Yeah, so it was a client of mine from a couple of years ago. I was lucky enough to help her sell and then buy the house that we just listed. She is a rock star entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Did it by herself, bought her dream home for retirement, and we just closed on that sale in March. At the time, I'm not sure what it is now. I haven't looked at the stats, but at the time, it was the highest price sale in the Sault for the 2025 year.
For the free of the year, yeah.
From the beginning of the year. So I'm very proud of that, obviously. My highest listing to date. Yeah, it went really, really well. It's a beautiful property. I think EXP and our luxury brand and our ability to really market to the rest of the world in a very sophisticated way definitely helps push those luxury listings a little bit more.
Yeah.
We have a huge network of just phenomenal resources for our luxury listings.
Well, yeah, because the big thing too is these are places, these properties in Sault Ste. Marie would be seeing that and no other company has this opportunity.
No.
So with luxury, you're on in the Forbes magazine, Town and Country, luxury home listings world, Canada.
Yep.
I think there's like 15 or 20 magazines that are like electronic digital sources, but the exposure is like incredible. Huge. And no other brand in Sault Ste. Marie can do that. We Luxury EXP is exclusive, and it is just a phenomenal opportunity for sellers. And I actually feel a little guilty that we're not telling more people about it because we're always so busy in our days, but it is an opportunity. So if you have a home that's worth over 800,000 in Sault Ste. Marie, list with a Luxury EXP agent.
Absolutely. Yeah. You'd be silly not to.
And it's the extra training that also comes with it too, and the integration and conversations with, our luxury homes, luckily in Sault Ste. Marie, because what was that house was over $1 million that you sold recently, and our homes, like that home in the Muskokas, for example.
Oh gosh, you'd be pushing 3 easily
for probably more. Yeah. Or let's say in the States, they're selling homes that are 28 million. Like it makes ours look like small potatoes. So, but the homes, like the caliber is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So if you have a home in Sault Ste. Marie that's over 800,000,
and you get space up here. You get space. You don't just get this little 200 by 100 by 100 in some cities. Lot.
Beautiful lot that goes with the luxury.
In places like Toronto, $1.2 million gets you a semi-detached townhome with an unfinished basement.
Yeah, which is funny.
And no parking.
Yeah. You sell your property there and you come and you could buy a beautiful luxury home or just a waterfront, something on the waterfront that's spectacular. There's stuff on the market now exposing those investments. And again, so our luxury price range is just over 800,000.
Yeah.
So if your home is worth 800,000 or more, you can have the opportunity with no extra charge to the client to be on the luxury network. And we have this amazing, we should...
Do you want me to grab it?
Yeah, do you mind? Yeah. So this is, when you think of a luxury company, it's often associated, let's say, with a company like Sotheby's. Well, Sotheby's doesn't exist here, but EXP Luxury does. And we are going to be taking over the luxury network. The most expensive properties in the world have been sold with EXP Luxury. So make sure you are protecting your investment to get exposed to all of the people.
Oh, I think this is probably flipped, but this is kind of what you get to see as a presentation.
Yep. So this beautiful digital booklet, and there's all the magazines. You can't really see that here, but we have the Rob Report. Can you read that?
It's Facebook.
Well, of course, there's
Yeah, and not only that, it's just like the whole network of EXP agents that have eyes on it.
And then also our Success magazine, because we do own Success. And that was one of the things on the list to bring here to show we have so many tools that sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, we forgot this, because that's a great tool. I mean, the Success magazine for these luxury listings to appear in, that goes to business owners everywhere. It's on people's coffee tables. And it's part of our program. And again, you're not paying an extra fee, an extra commission or anything like that. We are delivering the best out of the program to service the best properties.
And not even just EXP, but our team in the Soo really pushes quality, and we really push ethics. And we try to treat our clients top notch.
Yeah.
You're not going to get better service.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. The one thing, and you going back to being leaders, we decided to go with EXP because it is so driven on agent success and client success. and making sure that people, we have a very strict compliance department, and the reason for that is it protects your interest.
Yep.
So yes, ethics, making sure that your multiple offers are handled properly,
Yep.
and all those things, and the network behind us. So we're small right now here in Sault Ste. Marie, but mighty,
Very
and
mighty.
and we are because we have all this we're all connected. Like our head office is part of our organization.
Yep.
And versus a franchise, we have our, the culture is we are all building the company to grow and be successful, which in turn helps all of us be more successful.
Yep.
And it also helps our clients become
and
more
it just makes
successful.
it a lot more fun to transact. When you have a whole bunch of like-minded agents kind of behind you and in the same vein of thought.
And 55 hours of training a week.
Yep.
That's available.
And you can
Live and
access
recorded.
mentorship. Yep.
Yeah, the mentorship program. Well, that's how we met Daph, and that's how Daph had joined us. And I've mentioned this before too. We have 9 fluencies in our office.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal. So Jen and I are fairly limited in our own language abilities, but we have all the support behind us from
I'm working on
team.
French. I'm working on French.
Yeah, and I've been working on Spanish and French too. And I mean, you think we would be all fluent in French from the amount of time that we studied it in school?
Honestly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get by. Yeah.
Nothing that a good firm handshake can't solve.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm glad you're here today. And there is a couple people, what we've been doing yesterday is that some of the vendors have been bringing some of their products up to showcase them. And
highlight it, yeah.
Yeah, and see what they're doing. The cutting boards that are around the corner.
Yes.
And something root and terrible. So they'll introduce us, but absolutely stunning.
Root to table?
Maybe it's root to table.
I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right. So they're going to be coming over shortly, and they have amazing. I think they said this was their first trade show.
Oh wow!
That they've ever done. And
their table is beautiful. If you're coming down here,
stunning.
You have to take a look at it.
Yeah, and then we had some other stuff. Oh, Rick picked up a really. Oh, I can't show it though, just in case somebody's watching. He picked up a really nice gift for someone.
Yeah.
And they have these really cool albums that they're die cutting.
Yep.
So I saw that. There's even some Christmas decor.
No, there's it's a lake season, camp season. I saw a vendor that had beautiful epoxy lake kind of wall hangings. Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I always buy something for the walls at the cottage. I always love that.
And if you don't have a cottage yet, you can come to us and maybe you can get one of those as your closing gift.
So you've noticed, I'm sure that there's a little bit of low inventory.
Oh my
God.
I have a lot of buyers.
Listings.
And there's not a lot to show.
Yeah.
No.
And I don't know I feel that spring, the weather has actually feels still a little early compared, even though we were buried, we were tormented this winter. But the spring started a little early, but I think people are maybe just like a little hesitant. I think everything is just a little gray and they want to see, you don't have to wait for your flowers to bloom.
No, you don't have to wait. At the end of the day, real estate, if you're ready to buy or ready to sell, then it's the right time.
Exactly.
Great advice. There's no waiting, timing the market. People tried to do that 4 years ago, and now they can't buy because they're priced out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then back to your big sale. And we won't get into the exact numbers, but she owned that house for how long before she resold it?
3 years.
And a tremendous amount of equity that she built in just from owning.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that is waiting for the house prices to go down. Unfortunately, that is proven to not be a successful.
Real estate is always cyclical. Like I said, everyone needs a house. Everyone needs a place to live. They need a roof over their head.
That's right.
So there's no timing the market. There's always going to be people looking to buy. There's always going to be people needing to sell. So you just call your realtor for some good sound advice and see if it's the right decision for you right now.
Yeah, and pricing is so important. And don't list with the agent that gives you the biggest price necessarily.
And we'll sit on the. Yeah. I've had a couple listings in the last year or so, last couple of years. That like my farm that I sold, it sat on the market for a while. It was overpriced. It got stale. We really had to be aggressive to get it to the finish line.
Yeah, and if there's some motivation, that's twofold, right? Because if your property's sitting on the market, typically for too long, then you end up probably getting less money than if you would have had price rates to begin with. Yeah, so it would sell more quickly.
One kick at the can, as I like to say.
Yeah, because then it starts to become a little bit stale in the market, and people are thinking,
what's wrong with it?
What's wrong with the house? And you hear that all the time. What's wrong with the house? Well, nothing's wrong with the house. There's nothing's wrong with the price for the house.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's worth if you're interested in a property,
Take a
approach
look
it.
at it anyway.
Take a look at it, talk to the agent and say,
Yep.
or get your own representation, or, and take a look, maybe negotiate. Sometimes people aren't ready, and that's okay.
I've also seen, like, I'm on different, like, Reddit forums and things like that. I always like to kind of take the pulse of the general public. Not that Reddit is a fantastic snapshot of the whole community.
Reddit business has been emailing me, so I'm gonna jump in, even though you warned me.
So there's a lot of people that will say, okay, well, I'm gonna list my price at X, and if people don't like the price, they can offer. That doesn't work. I think COVID has really, like, fundamentally changed the psychology of buyers in real estate, where we're used to, okay, we're listing at, say, $499.9. Well, it's going to sell for $7. Maybe not in the Sioux, but in general Ontario market, that was the trend during COVID.
That's
things were selling for outrageous amounts over list price. So now buyers just automatically assume, even if you're a seller and you price it at exactly where you want it, or even a little bit higher than where you want, expecting lower offers to try and negotiate how it used to be before COVID, it's not working. Buyers they're going to think you're unreasonable, even if you're not. And it doesn't
especially if it's really overinflated. If you're lucky to own a bungalow with a garage, you will probably get action anyway, but you could have 20 showings and no offers, and then you've lost an opportunity and probably $10,000 or more because it's overpriced. So like taking the advice of your realtor, and you have to remember that not to feel like they're leaving money on the table, because it's negotiable up often. Like you said, people have this idea, buyers have this idea. And then if you get offers that you don't love, that's our job to negotiate, right? That's our job to go back to the buyer or the buyer's agent and say, I'm sorry, this price isn't acceptable, but if you add these numbers to it, then we have the ability to negotiate. And that's the other thing too that's important. And you're a great negotiator. You know how to, verbalizing, being able to speak to clients and be able to communicate that properly without losing the deal, keeping it in. But, people appreciate that. They want transparency. They don't want somebody just, that's not communicating with them or talking it out or answering their text messages or phone calls.
And I think a big misconception is that we're just, we push offers to you and you get them to sign. The job of as a negotiator on the negotiating side is we're managing egos. We're not just managing numbers. We're managing people's egos. And especially on the buying side, right? It's everyone wants a deal. Like, buyers want the lowest price, sellers want the highest price, and somewhere there's a deal to be made somewhere in between that can be acceptable to both parties.
That's right.
But you can, if you're not priced, it's really, I always tell my seller clients, with some exceptions, if you're pricing outrageously low, you're going to leave money on the table. But if you're pricing strategically and competitively, it's almost impossible to underprice real estate, because the market will bring it up to what.
And there is that sweet spot, because there is the too low. And I see it where money is being left on the table.
Absolutely.
If you're getting 20 offers, your agent hasn't priced it right. And that game is not fun for anyone anymore.
No, it's just the whole strategy for that is just to make your realtor look like a rock star.
I mean, you don't need 20 offers. You need, if you get 2 offers, amazing. Because really, or one really, really good offer for somebody who wants your house so badly that they will pay whatever it takes to get that price. And then we had a situation recently with another where someone brought a cash offer, and the seller decided that they didn't want to take that right away. They ended up taking the offer on the offer date that it was already arranged. So you had a little bit of frustration from the buyer side, and then not sure it was, the seller thought, well, they wanted more people to come in. So it's still a seller's market in that respect. For sure.
the Sault Ste. Marie in certain pockets, in like the, I'd say 250 to like 450 range, I would say is still very much a seller's market. As long as the fit and finish of your house is cool, then you're in a good location. Things
even
higher,
up as much as even up to 5. Depending, right? So
depending on the location
and
the
pea patches. If you have a house in the pea patch, call us. Let us know, because it's still like a big driving factor. But like any of the nicer streets. But you nailed it with that price range, like at 450 or a little bit higher. And your house doesn't need to be perfect either.
No, it just needs to be marketed well. If you are putting your house on the market, please don't accept cell phone photos.
No,
please don't accept cell phone photos. There are, if you're hiring a professional, let them do a professional job. absolutely professional photos. Nowadays, like getting drone footage is easy. We have videographers. Finally, we have videography services in Sault Ste.
Yeah, like
Marie
if you were
that are
hiring
professional.
a realtor, the it shouldn't be the price only. That the
It's
price
a
should
whole
be an
package.
educated
Yeah.
information. This is why I want to price it at this. This
Yeah.
is what I will do for you. This is the phone calls that I will make and the conversations that I'll have and the exposure and when we're going to review. And this is the other part of the package. These are all the things that we offer.
Yeah.
And it's not taking pictures with our cell phone.
No.
Oh, there might be the occasional one where just for your story or something fun,
Yeah.
that's a little different because again, then you want to be on social media. But if you'd never want to see somebody's vehicle in the photo that they're taking the picture and they just
Or someone's body
can't
in a
get
mirror.
out of the photo if someone's
or their thumb in the camera.
Oh yeah,
That's-
like we
that's
could
one.
talk about the thumb, the pictures from previous listings, stuff like that. So photography
Like I said, first
is
kick at the can. You only really have one good shot at making a solid first impression when you hit the market.
Yeah.
So make sure it's good. Don't rush it. I mean, obviously, there's cases where you are in a rush to sell, and there's limitations there. But if you plan it properly and you start, if you want to sell in September, start talking to a realtor now. And just start planning, because there may be some really little things around the house that we can go through and advise you, like maybe change that light fixture, maybe repaint this, maybe
That's
clean the
right.
windowsills, maybe do something.
Some things that you would never expect that seem so minute.
Yeah. And that gives us time too to plan for photography, to plan our social media posts, to plan any copy
keep
paperwork.
you in the loop on how the market's
Yeah.
doing. And and even I had a young girl yesterday thinking, she said, I'm gonna look at buying my house in the next 2 years. I'm like, don't wait to talk to us. We can get you on an email list, and so you're knowledgeable and you can see.
And
sometimes waiting might not be the.
And we can connect you with some mortgage brokers that are
Exactly.
really good with first-time home buyers that can help you plan out if you're not quite where you need to be in terms of a down payment, in terms of your credit score, for whatever reason. We are connected with partners that can sit down and help you.
And
make
we
a
have
plan.
mortgage financing within the office now as well. Yeah.
We can we can give you a plan.
Nothing worse than deciding you're ready to buy a house and realizing that you don't have the right things in place.
Yeah.
You don't have the minimum credit score. You don't have enough money down.
Having conversations are free. And we're your resource, right? We're not just here for the one transaction and signing your name in a way. Like, we want to be there for you before, during, and after the purchase. Or your resource, right? This is our job. This is what we do. And
we're not mortgage brokers, but we know the stuff.
Connected, yes.
And
we're connected to mortgage brokers that can help you,
Yeah.
and financial planners and insurance brokers and anything that you would need to.
And sometimes people don't realize some of the things that will have impact within the market.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's all too often that people are focused on the negative impact and really thinking that the property values are going to go down. I don't see this happening in Sault Ste. Marie. Our population's going up. And when you have a situation
even if you look historically, like in the Toronto market, if you look at a historical graph, we've had dips obviously during some financial crisis, right? But it's always, anytime it dips, it goes back up and it surpasses the last.
Well, that's why a lot of people that are in the baby boomer era, for example, which has been a big focus in the market, have cashed out so well when they sell their homes, because what a great investment. If that's the only thing that you buy as your primary residence your entire life, especially if you bought it right after the war or in the 70s, you hang on to that property, or maybe you sold a couple. The 70s prices, I mean, that's when inflation really hit. So, you're quadrupling more, the value of properties. So something that was purchased for less than $100,000 now is worth $500,000-$600,000 or whatever.
I've been finding too, a lot of first-time home buyers. We worked on a deal with one. First-time home buyers are doing multifamily, so duplexes and triplexes, house hack. So, duplexes, I worked with one, had a beautiful garage in a great West End location. It was a duplex that, needed a little bit of cosmetic updates that he was more than willing to tackle. So he's living in one unit, rents out the other, helps pay his mortgage and his utilities, and it's going to now he's redone his own unit. He's renovated it completely. So now when he goes to sell it, he doesn't even have to. He can take equity out if he wants to upgrade his house in the future, or he gets married or whatever. Rent out both spaces. Now you have a fully, probably close to paid off income generating property, or you sell it and you've already made all these capital improvements.
So I have the other one on second line that's about the same price. It's $310.
Yep.
Doesn't have a garage. It's brick 2-story.
Mhm.
The basement unit is vacant.
Beautiful.
So there's a perfect example. And with income properties, if you're not owner occupied, it's 20% down
Yeah.
minimum. But the beauty of it is, like with what you're saying, is you put in 5%
Percent.
up to 4 units still. So 5%. So this duplex, you put 5% down on it. Continue to get the was it almost $1,600 a month rent coming in upstairs. That covers your expenses. You're living for free.
Yep.
And it's a nice 2-bedroom unit with its own laundry.
And
Phenomenal parking, and I would build a granny flat on that if that was my
and my
garage.
apprentice, I have
Yeah.
a 2,500 square foot duplex that
That's
can
right.
be a triplex. They're both 3-bedroom units that are fully vacant with a garage in a great West End location.
That's a nice size.
Perfect for a first time buyer.
Yeah, or siblings.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
you've
multi-generational
Yeah,
families. There's a lot of
yeah.
people coming here where they need a little bit more space. They want to take care of mom and dad. They're not in a situation where they want to or even have the resources available to send
Yeah,
mom or
so
dad
for
to
people that are
a
saying,
retirement home.
right? So people that are saying, I'm not going to be able to buy. There are ways.
Absolutely.
We have
You just got to get creative.
Yeah, we're the resource for that.
And it doesn't have to be your forever home. It just gets you into the market, and it's a climb, right?
And then now we're back to you buy this investment now, it's going to be worth more.
Yep.
You either refinance it and buy, or you sell it and move to the next house, and now you have this, when things change. But I mean, you buy a duplex, it's a great thing to hang on to because
Absolutely.
prices are going up. And eventually, like my children's children, it's going to be even more difficult for them to purchase. So if you start planning ahead, and that's what I've done, I've got a couple of properties that those will go, that it will also go, each child will get one. And, that's the idea. Then they have their own space to live in their own home. And then again, those values will increase. We have to plan ahead that way.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, just talking about that whole planning for, the retirement. I know that's a long ways off for you. I'm in my 50s now, though, right? So if you think about EXP, back to that, so planning with, buying investment properties, but how many realtors do you know that you've spoken to that have a retirement plan?
Not many. At least not in my age group.
No. And equally in mine, I know that a lot of people, living, commission check to commission check. And the one thing about EXP Realty, we have the revenue share and we have the stocks.
Yeah.
So we're all owners in the company.
That are willable, right?
100% willable. Yeah. So the stocks is willable, and so is the revenue share. So, and my daughter is getting into real estate, as you know. So she's on to her 4th section now. Yeah. And so, I benefit from all of her sales without that. And that comes from head office, a contribution to head office. It's divvied out to anybody that we attract to the company that we, that are partners with us, and partners literally because we're all shareholders. And then eventually when my life expires, we all have an expiry date. Hopefully that's a long time. But my children will benefit from that revenue share income. So potentially that's several thousand a month. We're relatively new in the company and haven't really been focusing enough on that. We should more because, again, we're almost doing a disservice to some agents by not fully explaining. I'm in real estate to be successful and to have great relationships, but not solely to just I love everybody in the office, of course, right? But we're not in real estate just to make friends.
Nope.
We're in this because we want to build our own legacy.
And live comfortably at retirement.
Yes.
Which is the goal for anybody, I think.
And, when I, as I get, 20 years from now, am I going to want to be showing houses as much as I am now? Probably not.
You want to be in Costa Rica?
I want to be in Costa Rica. I'll be selling real estate there. But then having that revenue share income that I don't have to worry about that, and it's just a nice little extra thing that we have the ability to do, because Glenn Sanford, when he founded the company, he said, how do we grow a company? Well, we want our agents to help us do that, and we want the agents to also benefit from that. And it's actually a beautiful thing, because somebody's always making money off the backs of somebody else.
Always.
And if it's going back to the realtors,
capitalism 101.
That's right. If it's going back to the realtors instead of just more staff. Beautiful.
Agreed. And so far everything works pretty functionally, even with the amount of staff that the head office currently has. So no complaints on my end.
Yeah, well, we have 5 brokerage managers, and we're 24/7 availability. So if I'm not available to answer a question for anybody in town here, I mean,
there's someone available.
there's
And
always
there's
someone
IT. We
available.
have like specific IT helplines, and we have so many. I'm
many-
in 3 years
so
now,
many
and I don't
tools.
even know all of the tools yet because
Yeah.
it's just, and they keep pumping things out. I feel like every
Yeah.
conference they do or every rally they do, they're announcing some new
Oh, yeah.
innovation.
Yeah, like the co-sponsoring.
Yeah.
So, which is great because if you let's say you know or have a family or relative that's in Italy that wants to get their real estate license, and we have an office in Italy, and we say, okay, we're going to sponsor them, but we want somebody that's in their community to help them. So then the two mentors work as a team
Yep.
to bring this person on, and then you both benefit.
Yep.
And not at a discount either, at a full full benefit. So that's a pivot, and that is so agent centric and so quick. I've never seen such quick response to
Agent
hey, we
feedback.
haven't.
Yep.
We need. Well, because we have those surveys all the time too. So
Yep.
anytime.
And every single transaction that we do, there's a survey of how they did and how you get better. And I can attest to the fact that they actually read every single one of them.
Yes.
Because I was like unhappy about the way a certain transaction was handled on the transaction coordination side. So I put I think 4 instead of 5. And our managing broker at the time called me within 5 minutes of me submitting that. She's like, it wasn't a 5. Why is it a 5? What can we do?
Yeah, they read them every day. And that's the important thing about, I've been at other offices and I've been unhappy about things, and it's just suck it up. And I think when you're really exposed to something like EXP, you reflect back.
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, okay, that's just the way it is. And, there's nothing really I could do about it. It's not my business. And so I just have to just play along and go within the guidelines of how they like to do business. And
we've been there.
Yeah. And this is complete.
You actually
opposite.
feel like you're your own business now.
Hi, Laura.
We have some
Good,
exit realty agents.
Yeah. Thank you. Say hi. We're live.
This is Laura.
We love Laura. See, and that's the other thing that's really important, that we all work together, right? Yep. Yeah, we have good rapport, and that helps the community with getting more bucks for their places. You too. All right. Well, that was awesome. Yeah. So glad you're here again. And I think.
And also stay tuned because we have a podcast now.
Yes,
Real Estate Ramblings. And I have a lot of opinions. So I'm really excited to.
Which I love. I love your opinions. So this is going to be on Real Estate Ramblings. This is where we're sharing these. And then we'll have some segments and snippets that we'll share out too. But we were on here most of the day yesterday until my laptop died. And then we weren't, but my phone's ringing again. But yeah, so the Real Estate Ramblings, we will have so many good nuggets on that. Lots of things to learn, and Rick already did us the privilege of sharing his.
Even if we just went through our group chat, our office group chat, and just picked, there's a lot of content there.
A lot of topics.
We have to censor some things, but
and it's very focused, obviously, because we practice in Northern Ontario for most of our business. Lots of information for people to learn.
Absolutely.
So it'll be very practical things, and then we'll have some fun, quirky anecdotes and tell some embarrassing stories that we've experienced over the years,
and things that just generally make us a little bit frustrated.
Yes, and that too, yes. Which is really valuable information for the public, because sometimes you think that it's normal.
Yeah.
Certain ways that transactions or things are handled, and we want to make sure that you know how things are.
It can be kind of fun. Speaking of Reddit, you know how some new podcasts are doing going through Reddit, Am I the A-hole?
Oh yes, yeah.
Well, we can go through Real Estate Canada ones and pick some fun.
Well, that's a great idea.
Some fun
All right,
questions.
So watch for that. Jen and I are going to scroll through Reddit and see.
Doom scrolling at its finest.
There we go. Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. We'll be back soon with Roots to Table.